guys, we are back for another Dokkan battle video. So today we're going to continue the challenge that I've done, which can sort of display the strengths well of any given 200% team. We're going to go ahead and sweep the entire red zone. So we're using the LR Goku and Vegeta team right here to sweep the entire movie red zone. Now, I think that the GT side of the red zone is probably a little bit tougher overall, if you factor in all 7 stages. But the movie side definitely has the single toughest fight in Broly at the end. So right here for starters, this Turles fight, there's nothing to talk about. We've now, been in the 200% meta for so long. There's so many powerful characters. We have several 200% leaders on this team in a lot of these runs, which just makes most of these runs just very, very simple, right? Like, I could give you strats for Turles, and, he does this and that, but really what happens is we jump in here, we drop our balls on Turles' head, and he's dead. That's it. So next, we are jumping into the Lord Slug fight. Same thing with the Turles fight. Lord Slug is actually just a joke at this point. The final phase of Lord Slug can, hit pretty hard if you're bringing a physical unit. But Goku and Vegeta's team is too diverse, too powerful. You have great options for every typing. So it's not like your best character is physical typing, and we got to bring him in here, and let's hope Slug doesn't super or anything like that. Just not really an issue. Again, Goku and Vegeta, one of their major strengths is their versatility, right? Their incredible leader skill, join forces, and movie heroes, just a huge amount of good options. And then, of course, Goku and Vegeta's link set, Golden Warrior, Shocking Speed, Prepared for Battle, Saiyan Lineage, makes it a joke. They link up with every unit, right? Which really, really helps. Just sort of, mold a team however we need it for any given situation with a lot of these tough fights, right? So, basically we just jump in here, we completely shit on Lord Slug. He offers no resistance whatsoever. next we move on to the cooler fights. Now, what's funny is, maybe they probably could have done better. Considering the Wicked Bloodline Red Zone now exists, which when that's finished, we'll definitely do these types of runs. We'll do that in the Wicked Bloodline with all the previous 200% teams, right? Including, I'll dust off the Majin Vegeta. The Majin Vegeta team with LR Vegeta and Trunks right there added to it definitely can do this for all these Red Zone stages as well. But this cooler fight, there's several other movies that they did skip, right? Like, I mean, they chose not to use Dragon Ball Z Broly at all. No Harudegarn stage, right? Like, maybe they're going to save those for other future Red Zones, but I feel like they could have taken this cooler fight out and maybe did the Harudegarn fight instead. I think might have worked a little bit better, since this exact, like, cooler fight almost is in the Wicked Bloodline Red Zone as well. This fight still can catch you, depending upon what happens. It's not really this first phase. Cooler's Armored Squadron, they're definitely not tough. They do seem to go down pretty easily. Then, of course, there is also STR Cooler in this fight. Is not really too tough. But that last phase against Physical Cooler, he can be an issue. He does do a lot of damage, but, I mean, just look at the team we're running. Like, the thing is, in these Red Zone stages, right, at the start of 2022, it was just much more scarier because we just have, like, way worse units. Now, it's like, look at this. Vegeta and Trunks, best unit in game, 200% leader. LR Gods, 200% leader. Incredible Dokkan Fest LR. Carnival LR Goku, 200% leader, right? Like, that's the thing, is now there's starting to be so many, like, powerful characters designed to go into these Red Zone stages, whereas earlier this year it wasn't like that, right? We were using a lot of characters, from the last couple of years, prior to this. So it's just, like, coming in here, like, with this Goku and Vegeta team, I think the only loss I had, believe it or not, was to Janemba. I think Janemba did catch me, but I'm pretty sure I did Broly in one try. I think I did Bojack in one try. All these fights, it just went down in one try because the team is so good, right? I think Janemba just happened to catch me, but that's the reality now, right? Like, so many powerful characters come out that, like, these runs are just not as hard as they once were, right? Now, of course, there's other teams, we could use worse 200% leaders, worse 200% teams, and it's definitely more of a struggle, but with this team, we jump in and we absolutely demolish these stages. so next we are moving on to the Android 13 fight. This is a fight that potentially, could have been a tougher fight in some other timeline. By the way, this is the Truth special right here. Double Goku and Vegeta rotation. Just so goddamn common to see that happen. By the way, remember that Goku and Vegeta too, it doesn't really matter in most of these fights besides probably Bojack, Janemba, and Broly. But Goku and Vegeta, remember, they get a huge power buff if we actually get their transformation. It's way easier for them to tank hits once they actually do the morale boost transformation, right? So, in a lot of these runs, getting the 3 super attacks with Goku and Vegeta and receiving the 7 hits is going to make these runs go a lot more consistently, right? But the thing about this fight against Android 13 is that Android 13, right, we fight 14 and 15 here, who can be annoying, but I don't feel like it's very common that these two have ever, sabotaged one of my runs, right? But then base Android 13 and Transform Android 13, they're both just AGL cocksuckers. So we just run nearly a full, ridiculously powerful tech unit setup, and what is Android 13 gonna do when we're running just this full, crazy tech setup, right? LR Tech Gogeta, Tech God Goku, the LR Gods, Carnival LR Goku, right? I brought LR Goku and Gohan on this run just to sort of, give them a little bit of shine as well. They're very, very good. I wanted to, again, find a spot to use them. Think about the fact that I could have just ran LR Vegeta and Trunks on this run, but I just decided not to, right? The options for this Goku and Vegeta team are disgusting, ridiculous. Android 13, again, just goes down. These first couple of fights, there's nothing these bosses can do. There's nothing they can do against this team. The power is too high. Carnival Goku is too tanky. The gods do too much damage, right? Goku and Vegeta are too versatile to bring it all together. There's just nothing these bosses can do against a team like this at all. Nothing. All right, so now we move on to the first real fight, right? Bojack. Bojack is a tough fight. Even, talking about just how ludicrously powerful this team is, Bojack can catch us easily. Because, we now know, Bojack in that final phase, he does lock and seal guaranteed every single turn. So, you have to sort of build your team, very tightly going into fight Bojack. You don't want to just sort of haphazardly throw on AGL characters because, you can get caught, you could get cocked. you know, in 19 minutes into a 20-minute fight, Bojack locks your weak character slot 1, and boom, they're dead. Right, so you do want to be very careful. That, of course, puts us in a problem because, you know, the leader, Double, Goku, and Vegeta are AGL. If they do not transform, Bojack would obliterate them, right? So we need them transformed. And, of course, what happens? Every single time I ever use this character, they're both in the same rotation. In particular, this Goku and Vegeta, it is very bad if you get them in the same rotation, by the way. Because, remember, both of them have to be hit 7 times, and both have to super attack 3 times. They have the built-in additional, but it's only for the first 3 turns. So my Goku and Vegeta we're keeping on rotation. Next turn, they will have the guaranteed additional and the 20% damage reduction still. But floating off the friend Goku and Vegeta, when they return, their passive will have worn off. Right? They will not have the damage reduction. They won't have the additional. They were designed in a very sloppy manner. The 3 turns really should have been 4 turns. At the very least, that would have saved you from this potential situation, which happens to me literally every single run, right? Like, it's, you know, I'm sorry. People say, oh, skill issue. Yeah, dude, I'm just not skilled at Dokkan. I can't help it, right? The leader and the friend leader, same rotation, nearly every run. That's what happens, right? Talking about some of the other options, I have not talked about STR Piccolo yet in this video. He is a god. I love STR Piccolo. I adore him. He is my lover, STR Piccolo. I love him so much. We throw him on the team. He doesn't take damage. He supports. We don't even really need the super attack with him for any reason. He's just a tank, a supporting tank just floating around. He works so well to just set up Goku and Vegeta, the Resurrection F Blues, the LR Gods, Carnival Goku to just do more damage, have more ki, make things easier on all of them. I love that STR. That STR Piccolo is a great example of how to make a banner unit supporting defensive role to just sort of assist all of these dominant, you know, like these are all essentially running like full Dokkan Fest LR team practically, right? And it's like Piccolo is on here to just sort of help them go correctly, right? Now, we know how all these characters work, right? Carnival Goku does stack with his 18 key super attacks. Vegeta and Trunks stack with their 18 key super as well. Now, Vegeta and Trunks, this is the one fight potentially that can hamper Vegeta and Trunks a little bit. In that, remember, after 5 turns, we did get the transformation off of Goku and Vegeta, which is huge here. But after 5 turns, Vegeta and Trunks only guard in slot 1. And, of course, Bojack could just decide at any given time they're not going in slot 1, right? So they could take a little bit more damage, but they just so happen to have type advantage, right? Which helps out a lot. Now, remember, Goku and Vegeta, when they transform, they are really good. They are definitely like a top 3, top 4 unit in the game. Once Vegeta and Goku transform. On this turn, they are guaranteed critting on every single attack because we're at 24 ki. And they have a 70% chance to additional super, which we see right here. And defensively, they will be very strong. They triple super. Like, this unit is so busted once you transform, but it's not easy to actually get your transformation off is the issue. But once they do transform, look out, because they do dominate. They look, to me, they look very, very impressive. Also, cocksucker Bojack. I remember when I was using the Goku/Gohan team to no-item this, I had so much trouble in this stage because Bojack always super slot 3 and he just kept bullying Namek Goku. I had 10 runs where Bojack supered in slot 3 and killed Namek Goku. So frustrating. But alright, there's Bojack. Right, again, the team is too strong. I also bought the Resurrection F Blues. This is kind of a forgotten unit. I mean, their kit is not anything special, but they are a very powerful int character. So we could bring this unit, and the blue Vegeta potentially could tank Bojack's super attack or just do ridiculous damage to Bojack once we actually do reach him, right? So there we go. There is Bojack destroyed. right, guys, now we're moving on to the Janemba fight. Now it is funny, again, I believe this Janemba fight is the only fight I did actually lose. And I think, you know, Janemba just actually managed to just catch one of my characters. I'm actually curious, because I just sort of assembled all the footage. Let me double check. How exactly did Janemba, take me down? I'm very curious to see this right here. Let's go ahead and see. How did this Janemba fight pan out where I actually lost right here? Looks like Janemba super attacked Goku and Vegeta. Janemba super attacked Goku and Vegeta, did 500k damage to them, and then I died. Okay, so that's what happened. It was non-transformed Goku and Vegeta. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. So, Goku and Vegeta, looks like it was the friend one, so maybe they were 79% or something like that. But they did take about 500k from Janemba. That makes sense. Again, that's the thing with Goku and Vegeta, right? It's like, if you get good luck, you transform with this character early, like they're dominating the whole fight. They could receive hits from these very big red zone bosses. But if you don't transform with them, they've only got the 20% damage reduction. They only super attack once. They could take just ridiculous amounts of damage. And it just is very, very scary sometimes with them. But of course, you know, we get a nice rotation where we got Carnival Goku in slot 1 and Goku and Vegeta in slot 2. And it's like, we're cooking, right? Like, oh, what do you know? A fight where we don't get double Goku and Vegeta slot 1. And, you know, of course, it's a pretty comfortable W. This is where a rotation like this really does highlight their one weakness, though, right? Is because a lot of times bosses do gang up their attacks in the first slot, right? Because there's one spot to attack slot 2, there's one spot to attack slot 3, but there's 2 different spots to attack slot 1, right? That's why slot 1 characters, you want them so, like, slot 1 defensive characters are so important. But, you know, there's just gonna be more hits in slot 1 most of the time, right? Because there's 2 different slots for there to be attacked. So, Goku and Vegeta being a slot 2 character, them super attacking 3 times on Nishu, I feel like they could have jumped up maybe Goku and Vegeta have to super attack 4 times, but then, you know, they don't have to take any hits, and it's a better transformation condition, right? I don't have an issue with them having to super attack, but it's just having to take hits in slot 2 or 3. It just feels terrible. It feels horrible. Because it's just something completely out of your control. You cannot control where the boss is going to attack. And, you know, if you try and be greedy with it and be like, oh, we'll put Goku and Vegeta in slot 1, and then you just get crushed, right? They take 500 million billion damage, so, you know, it can be a bit of an issue. But Janemba, remember, the thing is that once we get to this form, he's only just got his 1 health bar left. And we're rocking this team of all these ridiculous, you know, Dokkan Fest LR level characters. We got God Goku and STR Piccolo for defense. We have, you know, LR Vegeta and Trunks, who are the strongest unit in the game. And it's like, Janemba could catch Goku and Vegeta, right? But if he doesn't just decide to super attack them prior to their transformation, like, we're good, right? You know, the LR gods could be killed as well. But, you know, if we correctly use them, smartly use them, right? Like, I put them in the middle. If Janemba was going to super attack in the middle, I would have just broke the action, right? Rather than even give Janemba a chance to kill the LR gods. So, just all about, you know, sort of correctly putting your units in the right position to succeed. But Janemba really didn't feel like that tough of a fight. He just previously had caught my Goku and Vegeta, right? Which it certainly can happen with any boss, right? That's why, you know, if they drop some big premium unit that can't really take hits, it just doesn't feel very fun when, you know, what is supposed to be like the best character on your team just cannot take hits. But, I mean, you guys can see they could output damage, Goku and Vegeta. On any given turn, they could do just a ridiculous amount of damage. But there we go. There is the team and the Janemba fight taken down. Alright guys, now we're moving on to what is, I guess, formally the toughest fight in the game. I probably would say at this point that I do, of course, think that there are tougher fights in the game than this Broly fight. Or I guess one fight. That's, of course, whatchamacallit, the Cell Max fight. Now, I actually, Dan, I'm not really a fan of these rotations right here, because preferably what I'd like to do is I'd like to have a Goku and Vegeta on each rotation, along with, you know, Carnival Goku on one rotation, and then probably LR Vegeta and Trunks on the other rotation, is probably what I want to do. But we ended up with, you know, basically both Goku and Vegeta's, Carnival Goku and Vegeta and Trunks, all in basically the same, like, starting rotation. The reason I chose to float Goku and Vegeta off right here is because the other Goku and Vegeta, if you guys notice, is in slot 7. So if I would have kept Goku and Vegeta in that first turn, we would have been in major trouble potentially against Tech Broly, right? Tech Broly would just hit that unit so hard, depending upon what our RNG would be with additional super attacks, right? So we do want to keep that in mind. Now, this team is pretty well designed to potentially be able to get through Broly's AoE, which is one of the big factors. Now, the LR Gods would get obliterated by Broly's AoE if he supered right away, and so would LR Tech Gogeta. But besides those two characters, the rest of the team would be good against Broly's AoE. Goku and Vegeta are AGL, right? So they have type advantage against AoE Broly. And they do have that damage reduction, just 20% damage reduction at the start of turn. Certainly can be very handy against Broly, right? Like, you know, even 20% damage reduction and being AGL can help us knock down the damage that asshole can do with that AoE super attack. So we're not really going to have to worry about that quite as much, right? Which, of course, is going to be very good. The tech phase Broly here could certainly give us trouble. You know, if he decides to super attack Goku and Vegeta, especially this Goku and Vegeta, because their passive has already worn off, right? You know, they started out in turn 1, we lost their passive, right? Which is very unfortunate. But here, you know, as you can see, there is no super attack coming in. So, you know, with the Scouter up, knowing that there is no super attack coming in, you know, we could sort of put Goku and Vegeta wherever, and we're good. We would like to get Goku and Vegeta transformed as quickly as possible, because remember, not only are they able to tank better, but their damage output's going to go up a lot after they transform, and we'd also get access to their active skill, which can be really good. You know, remember, they're going to do guaranteed crits the entire turn with that active skill up. Right, so the amount of damage that they could put out on either STR Broly or AGL Broly would be very, very crazy. This works out pretty well. We could see Broly is super attacking at the end right there. That's something we can break. That's why the attack break ability can work so powerfully with Scouter characters. Now, it looks like I am actually going to go for the gamble right here. This is where using this Goku and Vegeta can honestly feel pretty shitty, right? Is because I decide, whatever, let's just put him in slot 1 against this Broly right here. So we're going to take quite a bit of damage, but to try and get them to transform, it does make sense at points that you'd want to do that, right? Because they really do just get such a buff when they're transformed. It will allow us to just way more effectively deal with the final 2 phases of Broly, right? Carnival Goku. Remember, you know, I don't think we see it throughout this. Do we revive in this fight? I actually am not too sure if we get a revive off in any of these fights. I don't think so, right? Maybe there was one in, like, the Janemba fight or something like that. But, like, having that is very helpful. Okay, so this is good. We got a pretty nice rotation right here, actually. So this Goku and Vegeta, they're going to take a lot of hits. I guess that's Broly's AoE is going to count as another hit received on them, along with all those normal attacks right there. So we are going to be able to transform, I think, with both Goku and Vegetas after this. And then after that, you know, we'll begin to have access to Vegeta and Trunks' active skill, Carnival Goku's active skill. All these characters will have these big-time active skills they'll be able to do, which would just do tremendous damage to these Broly characters, right? You really don't want to sleep on how ridiculously powerful these active skills can be on a lot of characters, right? Especially so many characters are doing guaranteed crits on it, right? The Gods, Vegeta and Trunks, and Goku and Vegeta, all of their active skills are guaranteed crits. Revive Goku's the one who doesn't have the guaranteed crit on his, but he does have an attack break on his. So we potentially, right, could just break Broly's AoE, or maybe we could end up killing EGL Broly, one of his super attacks, right? A lot of different potential ways we could go about it. Okay, so we could have revived here, but notice that Broly is not super attacking, so I don't... This doesn't seem like it's going to be an issue for us, though, because even still we have a very strong rotation next turn, so we probably won't get caught, right? This isn't a situation where it's like, all right, Goku didn't, get his revive off, so we're in trouble, because every rotation is just full of ridiculously powerful units, right? And this deep into the fight, at the HP level we're at, we'll be able to use Vegeta and Trunks' active skill next turn, which... they really might have the best active skill in the game, right? Where, Vegeta and Trunks, they pop theirs, and then not only do they do insane damage, give you the guaranteed crits for the turn, but then they're also increasing the defense of the entire rotation, which can just be very, very strong, right? So there we go. Right, by the time we reach this point, all these characters are just able to start blasting out their active skills, and it just becomes Broly just gets melted. In a real fast way right here, right? Once we get to this point where it's time to start just throwing out all these characters, all these big-time active skills, the guaranteed crits, all the additionals these characters are doing with the guaranteed crits, and then Broly just gets turned into silly putty, right? So, let me know what you guys think of the LR Goku and Vegeta team destroying the movie Red Zone. Again, I'm pretty sure I did all these in one try, except for Janemba. I think Janemba's the only fight I lost in. Even this Broly fight did go pretty well, right? It's pretty easy now with all of these ridiculous characters, stacking on one team, right? Like, just all these powerful characters. It's like, these bosses can't do shit, right? Like, what is Broly gonna do? Super Vegeta and Trunks right here? Like, yeah, have fun, buddy. Like, it's just, you're not gonna do shit to them, right? Like, you can't just damage Vegeta and Trunks. They're the best unit in the game, right? Like, that's how it goes. So, again, let me know what you guys think. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch y'all next time.